In the beginning, the earth was a theater of unimaginable power. Oceans boiled with life, continents shifted like drifting ships, and the sky itself was a canvas of roaring storms and fiery skies. Long before the first human set foot upon the dust of creation, there walked creatures so vast, so powerful that even our greatest beasts today are but shadows of their former majesty. We call them dinosaurs, giants that ruled the earth for more than 160 million years. Their bones whisper stories from the deep ages, stories carved into stone, buried under mountains, and locked within time itself. But there's a question that is echoed through history, one that still divides scientists, believers, and storytellers alike. Did humans and dinosaurs ever walk the earth together? It sounds impossible, almost absurd, yet it's a question that refuses to die. For some, the Bible seems to hint that humans did see such creatures. For others, science says otherwise, that dinosaurs vanished long before humankind ever emerged. But as we will see, the truth may be far more mysterious than either side dares to imagine. The timeline of life. To understand this debate, we must travel back through the corridors of time. Modern science paints a sweeping timeline, a grand chronicle of life's evolution. Dinosaurs first appeared around 230 million years ago during the Triassic period and thrived through the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. Then, around 66 million years ago, catastrophe struck. A massive asteroid impact near the Yucatan Peninsula darkened the skies, plunged the world into chaos, and ended their reign in one of the most dramatic extinction events in Earth's history. By contrast, the earliest fossils classified as belonging to the genus Homo, our own lineage, are only about 2.5 million years old, separated by tens of millions of years from the dinosaurs. In the eyes of paleontology, there's no overlap. The fossil record doesn't show human bones and dinosaur bones in the same layers of rock. Yet this is where the mystery deepens. The biblical account. The book of Genesis tells us that all land animals were created on the sixth day, the same day as mankind. If taken literally, this would mean that every creature, from the smallest lizard to the mightiest beast, coexisted in the same world, under the same sky. To many believers, this description includes dinosaurs. The Bible never uses the word dinosaur, of course. That term wasn't coined until 1842 by Sir Richard Owen, thousands of years after the ancient Hebrew scriptures were written. But some passages seem to describe creatures that fit no modern category. Consider the book of Job, chapter 40. Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox. Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. To some readers, this behemoth sounds nothing like an ordinary animal. An ox eats grass, yes, but no ox wields a tail like a cedar tree. Many have suggested this could describe a sauropod, one of the long-necked dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus or Apatosaurus. These beasts were among the largest land animals ever known, stretching over 80 feet in length, their tails indeed resembling massive tree trunks. If so, then Job, a man living thousands of years before the birth of Christ, may have been describing something we only rediscovered in fossil form in the 19th century. The mystery of Leviathan. Another ancient passage adds fuel to this mystery. In Job 41, we read of the Leviathan, a creature of the deep, fierce and terrifying. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook? Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. Scholars have long debated what this creature might be. Some say it was a poetic description of a crocodile. Others see it as a dragon or a mythological beast. But what seems striking is how similar this image is to legends found across cultures. fire-breathing reptiles, sea serpents, and dragons, all predating the modern concept of dinosaurs. Could these legends have been ancient humanity's memories of real creatures, remnants of a world before the Great Cataclysm? Fossil clues and human footprints. Over the past century, claims have surfaced that appear to challenge the official timeline. In Glen Rose, Texas, along the Paluxy River, locals in the 1930s discovered fossilized tracks, some from three-toed dinosaurs and others that appeared human-like. Photographs and casts of these prints spread rapidly, hailed by creationists as evidence that humans and dinosaurs coexisted. If true, it would rewrite everything we thought we knew about prehistory. But when scientists re-examined the site, many of those human tracks were found to be eroded dinosaur prints or hoaxes carved into the rock. Most paleontologists dismiss the Glen Rose evidence today. Yet the fascination persists, because in scattered corners of the world, other anomalies keep surfacing. In 1968, in the riverbeds of Turkmenistan, paleontologists discovered 150-million-year-old footprints resembling human prints near dinosaur tracks. In Cambodia, temple carvings at Ta Prohm, dating to the 12th century, appear to show a stegosaurus-like creature among elephants and monkeys. And in Peru, mysterious Ica stones depict humans interacting with dinosaurs, hunting them, riding them, even performing surgery. Mainstream science dismisses these artifacts as modern forgeries or coincidences. But to believers, they represent a deeper truth, that perhaps the history we have been told is incomplete. The Lost World. Before the Flood. To many theologians who take a literal reading of Genesis, the pre-flood world, before Noah's Ark, was radically different from our own. They envision a lush, hyper-oxygenated Earth with vast forests, giant reptiles, and immense lifespans. In this view, dinosaurs were not prehistoric beasts from millions of years ago, but beasts of the antediluvian age, creatures that perished in the global flood described in Genesis 7. The flood, they argue, would have buried billions of organisms under layers of mud and sediment, precisely the conditions that produce fossils. This interpretation neatly explains the fossil record through a biblical lens. Dinosaurs, in this sense, were long gone before humans appeared. They lived alongside early humanity and were wiped out in the same cataclysm that ended the ancient world. Supporters of this theory point to geological formations where fossils of sea creatures, land animals, and plants are found jumbled together, as if swept up by massive, turbulent forces. To them, these are the scars of the flood itself, a moment when the world as it was, the world of giants, was buried beneath the new earth we inhabit today. The Dragon Connection. The Bible isn't the only ancient source describing massive reptilian creatures. Nearly every culture on Earth has stories of dragons, colossal serpents, winged monsters, or fire-breathing beasts that once terrorized humankind. From the Chinese lung, symbol of power and wisdom, to the European worms slain by knights, to the Aztec Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, the parallels are striking. Why would cultures separated by oceans and centuries invent such similar creatures? It's one of the great riddles of myth and anthropology. Were these dragons merely symbols, born of fear and imagination? Or could they be distant echoes of encounters with real creatures, perhaps the last survivors of an ancient lineage, remembered and mythologized? Even medieval chronicles, centuries before modern paleontology, describe dragons emerging from caves, slain by hunters, their bones displayed as curiosities. In 1572, in Italy, a farmer named Baptista witnessed a dragon crossing his path near Bologna. The description eerily resembles a small dinosaur or large reptile. Such stories may sound fanciful, but they persisted across the world until only a few hundred years ago. Could it be that our ancestors were closer in time and in memory to the age of reptiles than we think? Science versus Scripture, a clash of worlds. The modern scientific view draws a firm boundary. Dinosaurs and humans were separated by 64 million years. The fossil record, radiometric dating, and evolutionary biology all point toward that conclusion. Yet, even among scientists, the story is not without mystery. Fossilized soft tissue, including blood vessels and proteins, have been found inside dinosaur bones, astonishingly preserved. Paleontologist Mary Schweitzer's discovery in 2005 of collagen fibers inside a T-Rex femur challenged assumptions about fossilization. If these remains are indeed tens of millions of years old, how could such fragile material survive? Some creationists seized on these findings as evidence that dinosaurs might be far younger than supposed. Science counters that exceptional conditions can preserve organics for much longer than previously thought. Still, the discovery reopened old questions about time, decay, and the limits of our understanding. In the tension between faith and science, each side claims evidence. Science relies on data and dating methods. Faith turns to scripture and historical memory. Yet both seek the same thing: truth about our origins. The world that was imagined for a moment. The earth as it might have been if both were true. If the biblical world of Genesis and the paleontological world of science overlapped. The air would be dense, rich with oxygen and mist. Forests of ferns and cycads would stretch across the horizon. Rivers would swarm with massive amphibians and reptiles. In the distance, colossal sauropods would move like living mountains, their calls echoing across valleys. In this imagined world, early humans might have lived in the shadows of creatures that inspired awe and terror. A child's memory of a great reptile might become, over generations, the story of a dragon, retold around fires, carved into stone, preserved in scripture. Perhaps the Garden of Eden itself was not a place of small flowers and gentle animals, but a land where beauty and danger coexisted, where humans were born into a world still ruled by giants. Echoes in stone and scripture. Today, we find fossilized bones but no living dinosaurs. Yet the echoes remain, in myths, in sacred texts, and in the questions that refuse to fade. When Job looked upon the behemoth, he saw a creature made by the same hand that shaped man. When ancient sailors carved sea serpents into their maps, they were giving form to a memory, maybe even a warning. Could it be that our ancestors witnessed the dying days of an ancient lineage? That a few of these mighty beasts survived long enough to imprint themselves upon human memory, becoming the dragons, serpents, and monsters of our oldest stories? Or are we simply projecting the awe of discovery backward, reading dinosaurs into scripture, when in truth they belong to a far older world that humanity never knew? The answer may never be fully known, but what is certain is this: both the Bible and the fossil record tell tales of wonder, of creation, destruction, and rebirth. One speaks through the poetry of divine revelation, the other through the language of stone. The search continues. From the deserts of Utah to the plains of Mongolia, from the museums of London to the catacombs of Jerusalem, the search continues. Each fossil unearthed adds a new brushstroke to the grand mural of Earth's history. Each ancient text, re-examined, offers new light on how our ancestors perceived their world. Perhaps, somewhere beneath the sands, lies a fossil that will change everything. A print, a bone, a clue that bridges faith and science, scripture and stone. Until then, the debate endures, as fierce and fascinating as the creatures at its heart. Because whether dinosaurs and humans ever truly coexisted may matter less than what the question itself reveals: our endless desire to know who we are, where we come from, and what we once shared this planet with.